I'm gonna ask, Warren, I'm gonna ask everybody to put their microphones on, okay? Make sure the button is up in front of you.
Share one.
Okay. It needs to be up.
Button's up, yep. Everybody got it up, and where did JT go? Has he got the kids?
Outside.
Has he got the kids with him?
Yeah, but I didn't see him in the lobby. So
He came
You walked in.
They were there when I went
in.
through.
Okay. Before we start, I just want to say that I had a request from the girl at the management company saying that she doesn't recognize our voices yet, and she can't tell who's singing what. Even though I may make an effort sometimes to try to identify who's making a motion or a second, whatever, but I think sometimes people just talk and, and say something, and she's not recognizing our voices. So what I'm going to ask you all to do, for the record, is to say your name clearly and loudly, and hopefully she'll recognize your voice. Can we start over there with Janice?
Janice Lancaster, present.
Virginia Stacy.
Warren Davies.
Angela Sullivan.
Joe McCulca,
Tom Roller.
and in a few minutes we should have JT Thomas.
Yeah, there's things in here that
Are wrong.
I didn't say. Somebody else did.
Someone said them, and that's part of the problem. That's correct. So take a couple of minutes to read this thing. I'm going to make some notes myself. Just
I know he got me mixed up with Warren. That's unacceptable.
You get a bad reputation that way.
Let's see. It quotes Mrs. Sullivan as, if we saved a lot of money by using community maintenance, they can do individual homes. Were you talking about, I'm just curious at that time, I was a little unclear myself, that us paying for it or people hiring them to come out?
No, I think that was in the conversation when we were
Okay.
talking about them coming out and doing more work around that other curve.
Yeah,
That the
okay.
other company wouldn't do because the truck was too big, something. in that-
Yeah, they couldn't make the turn out, they'd have to go way down the street. JT, I want to ask you
Excuse
to
me for
speak
interrupting.
clearly, I'm sorry.
But that's where it brought in the 6 months, is because instead of waiting, I remember saying, instead of waiting, let's just get community service maintenance to do it. Okay, sorry.
Okay, you want to say your name into the phone? Into the phone, into the
JT
mic.
Thomas.
Please don't have the ringer on, okay?
What?
Don't have the ringer on. All right, hopefully our voices will be recognized. All right, you said, it says here, Mr. Roller noted if we decide to use them, we need to make that decision to get them on the calendar. Was that you?
I don't think so.
I think I said that, because I know how busy.
So on that item there, it was not Mr. Roller, it was Mr. Davies.
If Mr. Roller wants to take blame, take accomplishment on that, that's fine.
Page 2, near the bottom, it's not Mr. Roller, it's Mr. Davies. And I said, it's open to recommendations.
So do we have to reword that paragraph? Where it was?
You know, I'll tell you, it's probably not significant enough
Okay.
at this time.
Was this done by in-house here, or was
No.
it done by the other people?
It's done by the other people. Am I correct on that?
Infomark.
Yeah. Now, they don't see the camera, the video then. All they're doing is listening to a audio, is that correct?
I don't know the answer to that. I don't know what they get. You'll have to ask Chris.
If they saw the
exactly what
video,
they
then
said.
they would,
Or
You
Vic.
would think they'd get the video, because everything's on the same thing, I would think. on the
get a
same-
better idea who's saying what.
Yeah. But if you're listening to it, here you're not paying attention to what's up on the screen, so.
So can we recommend that?
If possible, it'd be great if we can get Infomark. It's actually easier to say. The video for their
I think that they
review.
do send the video. I'm just not positive. I hate
Okay.
to say that they do if they don't.
So we can request it. if
It's
they
all
don't.
on the same disc.
I don't know who to ask, but,
Vicky, ask Vicky, she'll know.
well, the next question I have here is, there was a question about getting, the company that did the, plastic painted lines on the streets. We have a couple of spots that are not in real good shape, and we had asked that we get them out here. I hadn't received any response to that request, and I was just wondering if that's happening or not.
Did you email Chris?
Actually, we
Directly?
discussed about it at the last meeting, it's here in the minutes.
With
We sent
Chris.
some pictures too.
Yeah, Chris was in here when we
Yeah,
discussed that.
I know, I asked him. And-
I'd email him and ask him for a follow-up.
Okay.
Because he was gonna give us the warranty information.
Yeah, I know it was here. I'm very confident of that.
So
And
we
it's
just needed the
definitely been over
date,
here.
because it's, you said it was
He
7
said he was,
months at least.
what he's gonna do is gonna check when it was done, and I know it was done less than a year ago.
On the bottom of page 3, I think it was me that talked about the intersection of Greenstone and Stoneybrook.
Okay, at the bottom of the page, it was
Yeah, the second
Mr.
bullet.
Davies, not Mr. Rower, that made the comment about.
I think we all
the intersection.
discussed that.
Yeah. And they have been cut way back. I don't know if you've noticed that or not.
Yeah, there was a couple.
They didn't remove them to plant new ones yet, but they took quicker action for now.
didn't
Oh,
see
yeah,
They
that.
cut them way
Oh,
back.
yeah, yeah. My only question now, are they gonna let those grow?
I think that the intent is we're gonna take some of those bushes and
Well,
do
yeah.
little things.
Yeah.
And this was just a quick
Yeah,
action.
I'll tell you, the first time I pulled up that intersection
Yeah,
and
it
looked
was
down
good.
there, oh my gosh, I couldn't, it was just really, really good.
And to be honest with you, when I come from my sister-in-law's house and approaching it, it gives you a great appreciation for what it's like coming from that
Mhm.
direction, the whole thing with the stop sign situation. But I don't know what the solution is.
Elle said she would get back with us on smaller plans.
Okay.
She was gonna fix it quickly, and she's coming back
Okay.
later with some
Yeah,
kind
that-
of,
I think just balance it out with the
suggestion.
other side would be
I
sufficient.
think that's what she was gonna look at.
Just for the sake of the record, my name on the bottom of page 3, committee request, is spelled with an A, it's M-I. Again, on page 4, it's spelled with an M-A, it's supposed to be M-I. Fourth item down. Anybody see other, any,
It's right on the front page.
it's right on that same page, too. If anybody has any other things they see that's wrong,
Almost everything attributed to me came from Warren. I mean, I didn't discuss the Piper's tree. Nobody
Okay.
did. I didn't say anything about the tree being taken down because of the hurricane, it's still out there.
Oh,
Warren did, that's on page 4.
yeah.
I didn't talk about people coming down Stoneybrook turning on the Greenstone. That was Warren.
okay, was there anything you said?
I don't think I said anything.
You're pretty quiet then.
You weren't here.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I don't think it makes that big a difference.
No, I agree.
But,
When they do the minutes, are they watching the video?
yeah.
You missed that discussion.
Oh, sorry about that.
We're gonna request
Or are they
it.
just listening to it?
Yeah, we're requesting that they do get the video and that they do look at it. But hopefully,
Maybe they might think do more.
Is this your one?
They might.
all right, so, in any case,
Oh, that was me.
are you telling me that every time it says Warren, or
Well,
Mr. Roller?
I'll
it's
look at it at the
Mr.
end, but let me see. I don't remember asking if all the sidewalks, 8 miles of sidewalks had to be, I don't remember asking that.
Yeah,
So all
Already
those.
corrected the other.
all right, so let's just say that every time it's Mr. Roller said something, it actually
Yeah,
is Mr.
do that.
Davis. Okay? For the record. All right, anything else, so we can move on? Oh, there was one other thing. Oh, let's see, last page at the bottom. Gateway services by the end of May. Mr. Nicolka noted that we have to get a budget in there, and the supervisors decided on meeting on May 22nd. It wasn't the supervisors, it was the committee.
Committee.
Yeah. Get supervisors out of there, nothing to do with that. All right, let's get it going. Now, I did send everybody previously some numbers to ponder, to look over for the last meeting. And we now do have a spreadsheet that's a little bit more like what we're familiar with. Unfortunately, in my computer, I can't add and change the numbers. For whatever reason, I'm in a mode where I can't edit, but
She has it locked. It's locked.
is it?
I couldn't even print it properly. She's got it locked, so we can't make any changes to it.
Can you, Margaret?
Well, I hadn't tried to, but I will
See if
do
you
it
can
right
enter a
now.
number.
Do you guys all have a paid prescription to Excel?
No,
I use,
All I know is I tried to-
Because I have a paid prescription, subscription, so I can usually open things and unlock it, because it'll ask me, do you want me to unlock it?
Yeah.
Edit.
Can you do it online?
just try to.
Well, I have it on
There was a
my.
note on mine that, a special note on there, said something about not being able to change it.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah.
But that makes no sense for her to send it over that way. But I thought, see, I used to have Excel that I had purchased with the original program that was built into Office, and it always worked fine.
That's what I use, yeah.
But that seems to be cracked out, because this is new, this is on a new computer, and I'm using something called Open Office right now. And it opened it up fine, I can see it, but I cannot edit.
See,
it.
yeah.
I can't edit.
I am able to change.
And we're good to go then. All right, so I put spreadsheets, and I put some old sheets of old information in front of you if you choose to look at, or some of what you have been sent. But the simple spreadsheet that you got out in front of you, I think we can work with that. For the most part, the biggest issue and the biggest number, and I got some information from Andy, our president, that they're looking to kick up the pay for the gatehouse. And that's where it comes out of this budget. And they're looking to raise the salaries out there, and that's gonna kick everything up a little bit. So, unfortunately, he didn't give me real clean numbers. So I was looking for a solid number, how much it was gonna go up. And, we're looking on pace changing from 11, 12, and I'm looking at a minimum going up to $13 an hour. And some get more. And just at a quick glance to it, they are also gonna expand, but they do that every summer, number of hours on weekends, which is necessary, it's good. But as a percentage increase for that purpose, for the gate, could be 10, 15%. So, the way we've always done this in the past is start at the top, work our way down, it's not that complicated. Try to assess, think about where we're going and what the expenses are. Revenues, we'll come back to that number, I think, when we're done here, because we'll use that, go back into that number. Payrolls and salaries, let's go to expenditures. This is for the staff here, is that correct, Margaret? I have a question, and I understand why we're charged for it. But we already pay money into our regular taxes to pay for that.
That's true. This is, however, what the staff time that's dedicated strictly to handling those things for Stoneybrook, like, you know,
So you arrived,
contracts,
so that number was arrived at by, almost like a questionnaire, how much time you're putting in on these things?
yes,
And I assume you've reviewed it and you're comfortable with it?
I am.
Anybody have any questions on that?
What was the percentage of that, of their salary? Is it,
I don't remember that, because it varied depending upon the
I would-
employee. Because like utilities wasn't that much that was
Yeah.
dedicated, it's more administrative.
I would, I probably should about now, I would assume, I shouldn't do that Pelican's advisory committee would pay more than what we pay. Would that be an accurate statement?
I would have to go and look, but I believe that you're
Okay,
correct.
I was just wondering, because I know in reading their minutes and stuff, their minutes and things are Their meetings are much more
extensive. I know
extensive
their
than ours,
meetings.
yeah. so,
Because they've
okay.
been essentially acting like a master board and
Yeah.
almost running their community over
Yeah.
there.
They're getting ready to turn over.
I understand that in June, I was told. And that should change
A lot of things will change.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'm just curious.
I will say this,
Better?
generally speaking, my memory
Depends on what
is that
side
they're
of
all,
the book
they've
you're
always been a little bit higher than us,
Mm.
with maybe 1 year, and we gave our buddy Gary a hard time about it, because I think Gary sometimes took care of them. But generally, they do, theirs is higher than ours. It's not a huge number, when you break it down on a per door basis.
And
it's
I
very
looked at
small.
the CDD budget, and I really didn't pay much attention to that aspect, I just thought I'd ask that question.
So right now, they're projecting here a full year 2020 budget of 6771, which is essentially what the budget is in 2019. Does that sound reasonable to you?
I am showing for 19, 41,
That's,
26.
really?
Yeah,
That's a projected for the full year, 41, yeah, you're right. The budget was 6771, but the full year they're projecting. That's based upon actuals through February. But part of that problem is that, and I don't know how this plays out. We know, we've talked about it before, how we divide things by 12 and then average it out. Sometimes that's not how the money gets spent during the course of the year, so I don't know.
This basically does have for budgeted the same amount for 2020 as they budgeted for 2019. I think that is accurate.
So everybody comfortable with that, 6771 for 2020?
yeah.
Payroll taxes, there's no reason then to change that. Retirement benefits, they're using the same number.
And this is a lot higher for next year,
What is,
the retirement benefits. It goes from 97 to 203.
That was 18.
that was
19 is
18.
203.
I'm looking from 2019.
Yeah,
Okay, at the wrong column.
yeah.
And I thought, column.
Health and life insurance, they say that, I'm curious, if the numbers are all gonna be the same, how confident are they can match those numbers again next year?
They've done a good job.
So negotiating contracts and vendors and insurance companies and stuff. All right. That's fine with me then. Engineering fees. We have put that in there just in case in the past. We haven't really used it, the $1,000. You can see that it was put in there in 18 and in 19, and we budgeted. We basically put it in again, and the actual through February has been zip.
When they start doing the weir, the engineering and that, does that come out of the,
No.
your system?
No,
Because that's not our property.
that's them.
Okay.
That's part of the other budget.
001.
What was that?
When they're looking at, when they're doing the engineering report for the weir.
Oh,
and the
okay, yeah,
waterways
okay,
and
Because
stuff.
yeah.
everybody has that. Keep in
Yeah.
mind, this is strictly Stoneybrook dedicated stuff we're talking about.
And we haven't used any funds on that.
No.
Okay.
So, I'll throw it out there. Do we want to continue to keep that $1,000 there or not?
I think we can probably skim a little off that just to cover up from the gatehouse.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
think Gatehouse is gonna be a hit. I agree with that.
And this to 500.
Lower both of them to 500, save $1,000. I'm all right with that.
Anybody have an opinion other than to
I think
change it?
1,000 is a nice
both?
round number, and just
The
leave it
engineering,
alone.
which
And the
one?
attorney's fees.
You're not saving that much
Yeah.
money anyway by dropping it.
Yeah, if we're not using them.
One of our goals is try to keep the increase in taxes to a minimum, because we held the line last year, but then the 001 budget went up pretty significant last year. I don't know what it's looking like for this year. Do you have a feeling?
We're
on
just
that?
starting.
Well,
I don't have a,
even a gut feeling. And we know that
With
the
the late
dues are
contest.
going up, even though obviously they're saving money on Comcast, but the dues have been going up. Dues are gonna go up again next year, I can almost guarantee that.
on those two items, I just throw out a caution, because you don't know what is
Could
gonna
happen.
come up from year to year. And, the savings per door is gonna be,
Small, I agree. And that's basically Tom's opinion too. And I'm on the fence, but I'm willing to leave it alone if everybody's on a page with that. Unless someone feels strongly, but that's fine with me.
Are you talking
So we're leaving it at
We're
1,000?
talking almost just a little bit over $1 a door.
Yeah.
right, it's not a significant,
Utility fees.
Utility fees.
That's interesting
Okay.
because I'm looking at this. In 2018, it was $34,000. How was that? And then in 2019, we budgeted for 26, but so far through February, it's only like around 10 grand.
What, since this is my first time on here, what do the utility fees cover?
Essentially, we rent those poles, all the light poles,
The light
light poles.
poles?
Yeah, we
Okay.
do rent those. Those
From
don't go on
Gateway
the-
or from
FPL.
PL? Okay.
Yeah. They supply the electricity. That's somewhat of a fixed cost. So I don't know how that would go down. But also it includes, I think, the electricity that we use on some of the equipment that is, I can't think of what else it could be.
Because most of the stuff that we have, that I would think that comes under utilities would be part of the main
Stoneybrook.
system. Would be part of
Our
this
budget.
gateway, like, I think the meters and stuff, does that come under utilities also? Meter reading and those things, what does that come under?
I believe the utility fees on here is probably the electrical for the irrigation.
That's true. That's
The
right.
the fountains. I'm sorry, the bubblers.
The bubblers are
Is that a
001.
Freudian slip?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
those are-
right. That's-
yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
But the electric for the irrigation is.
yeah.
And we've got a number of,
Does that include the
You know,
lift stations too? Would that be under the lift station?
the lift stations would be,
That'd be-
it's enterprise.
yeah, which is other than the low one.
Okay.
But Margaret's right, we do have the irrigation, and that's the irrigation specifically along areas that are.
Well, that's for the water
Yeah,
usage, not for maintenance on the,
well,
on the system, or both.
I do not believe that water is in that number.
I
I would say
think it is,
utilities
because I'm
is.
looking elsewhere where there's irrigation, water fees, and there's not a
Yeah,
separate.
the irrigation has repairs.
I think this is,
Well, I would say, well, you know what, there's also a line item for street lighting, so it's not gonna be FPL.
no, this is strictly your, what we pay
Where's?
for water, irrigation water and the
All right,
electricity to the.
and Warren, you're correct, that's not electricity, that is water. That's probably strictly water.
It's probably also including the electric for the utility.
For the utilities,
For
the
the irrigation
irrigation.
system.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because the street lighting, and that's
It's a
the
separate.
actual number. And we seem to be doing okay with that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back to utilities. They've got a projection of 2019 of 26,000. For 2020, do we want to leave it alone?
Remember, we just did a change of irrigation fee. Didn't go up a lot, but I don't think you wanna scrimp there and not have enough money in the budget.
I remember the discussion years ago, you and I coming down here and discussing with Jesse. And there was an issue of 2-inch meters versus 4-inch meters, what the rates were, what the
Right.
fixed cost was. And then they did that commercial billing change. And we were really getting raked over the coal because of the amount of open land that we had. We were using a lot of water.
Mhm.
And we had hit these thresholds of being penalized at that time. But that has backed off a bit, has it not?
Thresholds are different,
Yeah.
Okay, is it, so that we won't be harmed as much?
but it may increase is what I'm saying.
I understand.
In fact, I'll just say it will increase.
Yeah, I kind of figured you were gonna say that.
Yeah, the tier we'll get into, we'll be getting paid more.
Now,
So even though the projection is less than what's budgeted, you don't wanna be under budget.
So leave it at 26, you're comfortable with? Everybody all right with that?
Yeah, that's
Now,
fine.
last year was a strange year also because we were still fixing things up from the damage from the hurricane, so I'm not even sure how that all factored in. It may have actually cut down the amount of water we used, I don't know. Tell you with the heat this year, this has been a hot May.
And we've also had new grass put in places
I know.
too.
I know.
And it's being watered, I know, every day.
It has to
Oh,
be
yeah,
initially.
yeah.
All right, so we're gonna leave that alone at 26. You okay with that, Tom? Yeah.
Why was 18 so much higher?
I think we might have had some irrigation problems. We might have had some irrigation leaks too. We still pay for the water.
Yeah, they had a few things, I know they.
Yeah,
I
back
think
then.
that was when we were getting hit on those bills, because we did not get much of a credit or refund for what had previously been billed. This changed going forward.
I see. Okay. All right, leave that at 26. Easy.
And also remember, well, no, never mind, I won't say that.
Well, next one's landscape contract services. Now, that's one you can probably help us out with, because have we
That's
negotiated?
fixed, there was a 3-year contract.
It was a
so
3-year
that's
contract. It was fixed price 3-year contract. All right.
And there's no escalated clause, or that
Yes, no.
includes the cost? Okay.
Boy, this is-
Why is the projected budget,
We're in the second year of that
why is the
contract.
variance so high then?
I mean, a couple $1,000s?
Robert,
I'm sorry.
are we in the second year or third year of that contract?
I think it's,
If it's a
I
fixed
think
contract?
in
Second?
20 it'll be the second.
Okay.
That's my recollection. It is the second. Why would we be a little bit over budget then, projected this year? Or is it just the way it averages out because of the dividing by 12 and multiplying it out? Because I will say this, plantings get cut back and certain things don't happen later on. Maybe they don't fertilize as often, I don't know.
But that was the same thing before, wasn't it?
I think because, a big thing, if you look at the amount,
Mhm.
the last year was the first year of the contract, and it should have been budgeted at the 118, and it got budgeted at the 116. So if you look at what the overage is projected to be, it would be 118.
So we really need to change it to 118
Yeah, we
then.
need to raise it then.
We need to raise it to 118.
I think that would be a good idea.
Okay.
Change the 116 to 118?
Well, 118, 159.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the contract budget.
Everybody all right with that?
I've never understood budgets, odd numbers. They ought to be rounded.
I was actually gonna say 160, but he beat me to it with the 159.
Always rounded off the
You gotta round
margins.
it to the nearest
So
500.
so 118, 200?
No, we'll leave it there. It's all right. Looks like we really figured something out.
No, that's the contract, delivery states.
Now, landscaping repairs in in 2018, the actual was 0. That's a little hard to believe. 2019, we budgeted 3,000. I think that's probably because of whatever the code was, and how it got coded, and we got lumped in with it, it was 0.
But what objective?
I know.
What kind of landscaping repairs would that be major repairs? stuff?
That has to do with, it's different from irrigation repairs. Sometimes we gotta change some plants out. Now, we do budget
But
separately.
Yeah, but they have plans, but we have a lot of other items there, and I just wonder what a landscape repair would be.
It could have been removing trees.
That's true. That's true. That's not part of the other budget for plantings.
And we have removed some trees.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean, shoot,
Agreed.
actually, you know what, those ficus trees.
yeah, well, and that, if that's where it comes from, that's
probably
fine.
where- That's probably
That's
where
probably why the
majority
budget's
came
so
from.
high.
Yeah.
So
And
maybe we don't need to raise it up to that.
No, I don't. I think that's a one-shot deal.
Yeah.
And we certainly have surplus that we can tap into for that.
we
So let's
also removed trees for the street lighting.
Yes.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
there were, and dead trees we've removed,
Yeah.
so
And those are done, and most of that's done by Anchor, isn't it?
I think,
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
still hits his budget, I think, though.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so 3,000?
That's fine.
Yes.
I think the majority of that was those ficuses in the.
Mm.
in
Yeah,
the-
that was a big
in
bill.
the FPL.
That was a big bill, no doubt. Irrigation repairs. I don't know.
Who's,
Looks like we
the-
got a little,
who's repairing those, Manscaped? And they're the ones that are damaging them.
well, some of the
It's
stuff,
catch-22.
some of the stuff is underground, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they are supposed to, unless that's changed, the heads on some of the things, aren't they supposed to replace those?
yeah, if they damage them, they're supposed to replace them, but, you know, on this,
At
I
their
just.
cost?
On their
If
dime.
they damage them,
Yeah.
they replace them and they don't, I mean, if the lawnmower hits it and damages it, that's on them. That's
Okay.
not on.
What's the status of, there was some discussion of renewing or redoing some of the irrigation main lines. Is that
A
still?
long time ago, they were talking about.
Well, I thought I just heard that in the last
some
couple
low
months.
flow. Remember when we met with them?
Oh,
for
that
low
was,
flow?
no, well, what happened is, yeah, we talked to, I can't think of his name, but they came and made a proposal, that was several years
It might have
ago.
been-
Okay.
that was when
And it
that lady
was, yeah, but
still working
they went
there.
over for it, they went into the
Once.
regional guys who would handle irrigation.
It was
And
like
they
$67,000.
We still have the-
60,000 it was,
We
yeah.
still have the original piping from when they first put it in, right?
For the most part,
Lines,
yes,
yeah.
for the most part. But what we were looking to doing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but as I recall, was putting an entirely different system so that it was located in different areas, but the way it would be throwing the water out was less, not as great distances, less water hitting the streets, maybe
And
more
the
of those.
sidewalks. The
Yeah.
big thing was trying to,
Get it off the sidewalk, less water lost to evaporation.
that was gonna be like 50 grand.
Yeah, it was over 50.
Well, it was like 56, it was like 60, 70, I think.
So we kicked it down the road, as I recall. When the day comes, and the day will come, we're probably going to need to revamp that whole system.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, then I think we'll look at a new design, whoever is in the decision-making process.
Now, with the irrigation repairs, just recently at the corner of Pebblebrook and Pebblestone, there was a major repair because there was a major line that cracked.
Yeah.
And that bill is not reflected in this,
That was an all-day job, yeah. Couple
and that was
days.
irrigation,
Yeah.
And
so,
and the sand is still on the streets.
yeah.
So that was just an age.
So it was pouring out of the ground? Is that what happened? Because I must have
It had
missed it.
they showed me the L joint had a big crack in it.
So nobody ran over anything.
Oh, no,
No,
it's
this is
deep.
deep.
This is deep.
This
This
is
was
yeah,
deep.
This is
Guy
deep.
So if it happened there, it's gonna happen maybe on another corner,
No, you
because
never
the
know.
age of the
Yeah.
piping.
It would go bad.
Go down.
Maybe we need to put that there.
Go down far.
Yeah, sometimes it's something called water hammer, and it's shutting off and putting it on. And when it shuts off, it does a big bang in the system and it can crack and pop.
Those pipe, I couldn't believe how far down those pipes were. The guy digging the hole
I
was
know.
was over his head. He was over his head digging it out. Because they couldn't use the backhoe.
So that hasn't hit us yet,
Yeah.
but that can come out of, once again, that we have carry forward surplus, so
I just wanted you to be aware of
Yeah.
it because this
you don't have
is,
any idea, a couple grand, something more than that?
I can go and I can ask Chris because he told me how much it was and off the top of my head, I don't remember, but it was a significant repair.
I would say though, I'm not ready to change the number based on that, but
No, I didn't want you to lower it thinking, well, gee, we're not using that. So-
well, I was sort of thinking that.
I know, I had a feeling.
Because I'm looking at what the actual was in 18, it was pretty low. Then we budgeted 13, I'm not even sure why we went that high, it must have been anticipating something.
Does our landscaping contract with Mainscapes dictate how often they will check the irrigation system?
They do a wet check once a month.
But check
But
once a
if-
month?
if
Supposed to
if
do
there's
it once a
issues.
month.
That was my next, cause
Yeah.
once, we,
If we have issues,
It's ours, so don't complain.
huh?
It's been it's ours, so don't complain.
if there's issues, they'll come out and check it.
Yeah,
They
well,
just see
I know,
leaking
but I
heads
just,
and-
yeah.
Just needs to be reported, because that's how that repair got done at that corner. I was watching the water just flowing over the curb,
Wow.
and I said, we got an issue over here.
All right, so they're right now projecting 5,097 for the full year. And we're running a very large surplus. Now, I don't know how much this new bill is, but does anybody think we got a little room with that 13,000?
Maybe 3?
I'd just soon make sure we have the money there, because when that, one of those pipes break, you gotta get it fixed right away, you can't.
We know another pipe is
Yeah.
gonna break if
As
it's,
old as that system
this
is.
is the first one,
Yeah.
right? That's-
Is that the oldest one too?
The age of all of the irrigation, all the lines, it doesn't matter if it's potable, sewer, irrigation, they're all the same age. They were all put in at the same time.
We do have some surplus, and we also have, I think, $80-some-odd thousand in like a reserve type account, as I recall from the last balance sheet that I looked at. So there is some money to fall back on if something catastrophe helps. So we don't have to over budget for these things. If something happens, you know,
No one remembers why it went to 13
and I do not.
or 19? I mean, that's a heck of an
It
increase.
certainly was. There must have been something going on. in
You know what we
that.
should have done? We should have watched our video from last year.
There you go.
What, YouTube, watch it.
And I wasn't involved
And
in
you
this
weren't
last
here,
year,
no.
so I can't
No.
help.
If we would lower it, I wouldn't think more than a couple thousand.
You wanna go down to 10,000?
Let
That's
me
what
ask
JT
him
said.
how much this repair costs.
That's a
Chris
good
will be
idea.
able to tell me.
It's under 5, over 5.
We budget,
Idea.
we budget
Again.
5,000 a year for our system for repairs.
But ours
On
is
the
a
loop.
lot smaller.
Huh?
We're a lot smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
But
a lot
does your-
smaller, but it's just the heads, and so we don't get that much difference on it.
Well, does your landscaper repair the heads if he breaks them? Is he doing that, or is he charging?
Supposed to,
Okay, yeah,
but
I know
like they
it's
say, lots of luck,
Yeah.
you know? But we
That's
haven't
what-
had too many heads broken in a long time.
That's like our bed street signs
Well,
and stop
you don't
signs
count
and
people.
crossing signs.
You're on the committee, we don't worry about you.
No, we don't.
He is not here at the moment. I'm gonna give him.
I think yours was the last one. Yours is broke down.
Hey, before I forget on the minutes, I know we just approved them.
Yeah, he was averaging.
Actually, I
for the
didn't bring one
last
for a vote yet, did I?
2 weeks.
I don't know, did we didn't,
No.
can we jump back to this so we have this fresh on our mind?
All right,
Irrigation.
Can I get your attention real quick? I want to go back to the minutes so we get this out of the way while we're waiting here.
Oh.
Got another issue?
On the last page 4, everywhere it says Mrs. Kathy, that is gonna actually be Miss L. It was L that was at the podium talking.
Ah, okay, good point. Just for, I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but whoever does the minutes, every time it says Miss Kathy, it's L Harris.
Page 4.
Miss Harris. Oh, no.
Ms. Harris.
No, Miss L.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, why do they put Miss Kathy and then they use everyone else's last name?
I don't know. So, that should be changed to, yeah, agree with very good. Yeah, that's L Harris. Okay.
These are.
So hopefully we can change that.
And if that's all done, we could probably make a motion to approve.
Let's take a motion.
It was a $3,000 repair.
3,000?
Yeah, okay.
So we're still under the 10 mark.
Well, I'm not sure what's in that $7,000.
Remember,
projection.
this is only, these are actuals only through February, so
Yep.
keep that in mind.
And that's 5 months, not 6.
Right.
This is
All
October
right, so that-
1st to September, is that the budget date?
Yes.
Yeah, just real quick, everybody okay? Let's have a motion. You made a motion to approve
You
as
made a
amended?
motion, I second it.
I don't like making motions. What's that?
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, what are we on, minutes? I thought we were-
Yeah, going back to the minutes. I want to get this out of the way now. While we pause. All right, minutes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So
Minutes
Jason
are-
Thomas.
minutes
made-
are approved
Jason
then.
Thomas made the motion, seconded by Tom Roller.
All approved.
For the camera.
So the minutes as amended, and if you have any questions, you can contact me. I got notes to myself here. All right, back to the, okay, so it's 3,000, that's not factored in. They got a projection of 79 already. Yeah.
So that brings up to like 10 or 11.
Yeah, 11,000.
Make it 11.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah.
All right, go
I'll
with
Change
11.
it from 13 to 11?
Yeah,
Why don't you wanna just leave it alone?
because we need a little bit of money to soften the blow that's gonna come.
Later.
Yeah.
How hard is it to move money from one account to another?
It's not.
Not hard? Okay.
Are you changing 13 to 11?
Yeah. Okay, plant replacement. Now, the actual in 2018, 11/8, that's because we ran out of time to utilize all the money that year. If you'll recall, and that had to do with hurricanes and flooding and storms and whatnot. So then we actually allocated an additional $20,000 in 2019 in order to do repairs to damage as a result of the storm. So we probably spent close to $40,000 all told in 2019. Not sure why it doesn't show a bigger number there in the actuals, but that's what I would have been looking for. I'm not sure why. In any case, we're gonna.
Didn't Al take some of that money that we didn't use?
From the previous year, we had asked to move it over. That's
Yes.
correct, and I think it was approved by the Board of Supervisors. We did put a request in for that. I think you're right, Virginia, very good call. So therefore, it wasn't quite the hit. The projection for 2019, they have 28,650. I don't think we need that. I think we can probably stick with the 22,000. I don't know why $41, but
You mean to take that $41 out?
that would be fine with me. Anybody object to that?
No.
We've already spent 23 this year, though.
But this was a fix year. This was a fix-it-up year.
No, still.
So that was in addition to some of the money that was carried over from last year. As I recall, I think we originally actually budgeted, I thought, for 20 grand a year.
Plant replacement.
So it's 22.
22?
Miscellaneous maintenance.
So let's go with 22 in the plant replacement program, all right? Miscellaneous maintenance, I'm not even sure what that is anymore. That was a catch-all phrase. There might have been some things that due to coding got thrown into that category way back when, and
I
we
think
just not
I think they
renewed.
stopped using this line item too.
Yeah.
So you want to make that go away?
There's
Is that-
nothing in there now.
I mean, but can we just eliminate it as a line item, or do you want to just leave it with zeros?
I'd
It
just
will
leave
probably
it.
be zeros next year when it goes to 19 to 20, when they
Yeah.
drop off the 18. It'll probably just go away.
Okay, leave it alone. Street lighting services.
Our FBR rate's gonna go up on that?
They can't. That's not, that's a fixed contract. We pay so much per light.
Okay.
They supply the electricity. If electricity goes up, it doesn't matter. It's
That's all.
a fixed
So
contract.
just leave it alone.
Yeah, I would,
Yeah.
well, looks like we're $100 short, but I don't know if I can lose any sleep on that. Everybody all right with 34?
Yeah.
Huh?
Road, sidewalk, maintenance and repairs, roadway services.
We have we don't have a contract per se with, community, maintenance, do we?
No. I don't know if they signed a contract to Did they sign a contract on that last?
We had a
special
contract
election?
with the previous, remember, for a 3-year contract,
Right,
and then they,
Something
that whole
happened.
unraveled, yeah. But the new company, I think it's not. But I would like to see us do it twice a year. And this is, if we were talking about.
Yeah, that's what was the final cost of?
Less than
those?
1,300.
Less than 1,300, so we should be able to do it with the money we have there now. Yeah, because there's, what, 4,000, so it was less than 15, it'd be it was 1,500, it'd be 3,000.
What kind of road repairs and maintenance is in that for the roads?
Well, that's really maintenance. The repair item, patching is about the only thing I can think of, or maybe a sidewalk repair in a couple of places.
If they had to repair the street, would that come out of the 004?
No. Yes, essentially, yes. We
Yeah.
do not,
Do we have a reserve for that?
no, don't go there.
Well, the painting of the yellow lines, was that come
Striping,
out of?
was that in that or something? somewhere
That
else?
would have been in this maintenance
Yeah.
and repair.
The,
And
So how much was that?
I gotta tell you something, I don't see it there. That wasn't cheap.
what's the capital
When did
outlay?
we do
Well, the
that?
actuals through February are 51.
Was the striping was done in 2018. That's probably why 2018 is on the high side here. It wasn't done
Was
in
striping that
2000.
long ago?
Yeah.
Somebody said 7 months last
Yeah.
meeting, but
Seems like we
I
just did
think
it.
we don't have that in writing, to be sure.
Oh, 2018, I'm sorry, I'm thinking.
But it was
Oh.
fourth quarter. It
I
was
don't
first
know.
quarter 2019.
Are you sure about that?
The actuals through
Because I don't see it
February.
here. I don't see it as an actual.
The actual is 5163, that's
Yeah.
gotta be for that.
That's gotta be for that, yeah. How much did we pay to have those,
It was expensive.
the stop lines put in?
It was expensive.
Yeah, I
And
mean-
crosswalks, and that was the
Is that
federal.
part of that money there, that 5,000? Or was it more than that to do that? I don't know.
Yes, it was more.
Did it have to come under the capital outlay? Is that, whatever that is?
We haven't spent any this year.
I'm sorry?
We haven't spent anything on a capital outlay this year.
What would we use it for? Well.
That would be for repairs to the road, changes, improvements, something that needs to be fixed. Beyond regular routine maintenance, I guess.
Like the striping.
Probably also a little bit of cushion, you know what I mean?
Capital outlay is something you can depreciate.
Yeah, but we still gotta come up with the money somewhere. Even though you depreciate, it's not like we're, carrying a loan or something, it's, those gotta be paid. I'm open to suggestions here, I really am, because it's,
I would leave it.
5163 to me in the actual through February 2019 sounds low. For some reason, that doesn't sound right to me. I don't know what to say. But are we confident that this was done in the fourth quarter? Or in the fifth
If you're
month?
saying it was 7 months ago.
Well, he said 7 months.
No. Those are the-
Somebody brought it up last meeting, they thought it was about 7 months ago, but we were supposed to get that information on today.
Because that would be October, November, and I think that's when you did it.
What? The
I
payment?
remember talking about it fairly recently, like,
Well, we were
not a
talking about
year
it
or two.
recently because we're not happy with,
Because
Right,
after
the
it was
results.
done, you talked about where
When
it
did-
needed
when
to
did
be
Michael
touched
leave?
up, et cetera.
Oh, I don't remember.
But wasn't Chris
Michael
here?
left at the end of the year. Right around the end of the year.
And I think it happened around the time when he left, I think.
No, it was done before he was still here.
Was it?
Yeah, because he gave me a hard time about putting the crosswalk in on Bluestone. Do you remember that?
Yeah, didn't Chris walk into the last meeting just a couple weeks ago? He said he would give us the date from the, because we were asking about the warranty. So did we ask him that?
Would they be able to pull when the contract was paid, or when it was done in their system, like in the, do they have a system in there?
Possibly. Ask Michael Kraft, he's sitting in
We were supposed to find
there.
out the date because of the warranty. I swear that was Chris that was stealing and said that.
It looks like the roadway services got split into two. If you just look at the actuals for 2018 under maintenance and repairs, it was about $8,000. And it looks like you made it two line items and split the amounts between actual repairs and capital outlay. Like if you were buying new street signs or,
Well, we did do some of that too.
right.
That's where I figured the money for the
That I
79
think
came
is,
from.
but I think that happened in 2018. But I think when the budget was created for 2019, that line item got split into two.
They're pulling it, he's looking for it right now.
So that would be the signs.
It was done by, what, Miche, right? Miche? That was the company that did it, I think.
I can't remember the name.
I think it was. Yeah.
While
Yeah,
he's
somebody said-
looking for that, I'd like to go back up to the electricity.
Sure.
And you've got actual of 34,121.
You wanna keep it that?
What I'm saying is the actual is expected to be more than the flat, the straight 34,000. So rather than go over budget, why don't you budget the amount that it's going to be?
You wanna make it 34,150 then?
Yeah,
Something like that?
that's what I think. If that's okay.
That's fine, I'm fine. That's just for repairs more than they really do.
When you're auditing, you don't wanna be.
I understand. There's an eight going down, you're right. Do you have a, there were 3 changes in the landscaping services. Do you have a bottom line for that in that subsection?
Landscaping, yeah, I got 180, 159.
No. Oh, wait.
That's with the changes that we made. And that includes the 2,000 taken off of the 13, a small reduction in the plant replacement program down to 22, and an increase of about $138 or $2,038 in contractual landscaping. So that all nets out to be
180,
up about $1,000.
159.
Looks like up about $1,000. Okay. Expenditures on the first section was constant, picking up 150 there.
We didn't really pick up much.
No. That's what we're trying to do here. Come up with numbers that are realistic, but without the increasing, it's gonna happen. The $5,000 on the capital outlay, what do we wanna do with that? I'm open to suggestions on that.
Well, if we're in the hole
That's what we.
on what we spent, just put it as a one line item again and keep it at the 9,000. Those roads are getting older. Sometime they're gonna need to be resurfaced and all too.
Oh, we know that, yeah. That's when we go to the debt markets.